News.com to get the local information you need to know.
Netflix buffering, YouTube spinning, devices not connecting, Zoom calls dropping. Ugh, it's frustrating. Let's end your frustration by signing up for fiber internet in Clinton. Click the Connexus icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
From the Hart Media Group newsroom and DeWittDailyNews.com, I'm Ben Hubbard with this expanded morning newscast. Good morning and thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Ben Hubbard. The news is brought to you by Baum Chevy Buick in Clinton, your Silverado headquarters, as well as Connexus, offering fiber internet in Clinton. Click their icon on DeWittDailyNews.com to find out more. This June, a local museum is putting a patriotic twist on its annual quilt show. On the WHOW Morning Show Friday, C.H. Moore Homestead director Joey Long told the Hart Media Group they are still asking the community to lend their USA-themed quilts for this summer's quilt show. They are looking for quilts that are red, white, or blue, or honor the country and its history in some way.
There's actually an America 250 at the Homestead event, at least one event each month now to the end of the year.
Right.
June is one of our heavier ones. We actually have 3 things taking place at the Homestead for June. So the quilt show, now that's an annual event, not a special event, but we put a fun little twist into it this year. The ladies thought that in honor of America 250, that it would be nice to have a quilt show that features quilts that are all red, white, and or blue, or have patriotic themes, or like the Baltimore album style quilt, that type of thing. So it's the first time that that's been done. I think it'll be really neat. We have had some quilts come in already. And you might think, well, if it's limited to, red, white, and blue and, patriotic symbolism and whatnot, how much variety can there be? Well, already I will tell you, it's amazing. Even, narrowing it down to those colors and themes and patterns and whatnot, already we have just some beautiful quilts that have come in, and obviously no two are alike, and it'll be fabulous.
Long reminds that quilts are lent to the museum each year for the quilt show for the entire month of June and returned in July after its conclusion, meaning no 2 years are exactly the same. If you'd like yours to be included, the last day to drop it off at the Homestead is May 26th.
We are putting out our annual call for quilts.
Okay.
So the quilt show each year is made up of quilts that are loaned throughout the month of June from collectors, quilters, people that are holding on to their heirlooms. All of these people are kind enough to bring the quilts to the museum, let us borrow them and display them for the month so everyone can enjoy them. So it's a community effort. And because of this, the quilt show is never the same twice. So you can stop by the museum anytime to drop off a quilt. We are open Tuesdays through Saturdays from 10 to 5, 1 to 5 on Sundays. But that last cutoff day to be able to drop off a quilt and be included in the quilt show, that day is Tuesday, May 26th.
Okay.
So please bring them in. And we take vintage quilts, new quilts, anything you have, as long as it falls, kind of under that umbrella of, the colors and the themes and the symbols and the patterns and whatnot, colonial theme or eagles, stars, stripes, think along those lines too. We are happy to have them.
If you'd like to see these beautiful quilts on display at the Homestead, you can do so from June 2nd to June 30th. Long notes that regular admission fees do apply.
And then the quilt show, it runs the entire month of June. So it will kick off June 2nd.
All right.
June 1st being a Monday, and we're closed on Monday. So it kicks off June 2nd, and it runs through June 30th. So the admission fee for that is $10 for adults. And then ages 16 to 18 is $5. Ages 5 and under free. And museum members are also free admission as well. So when you visit the museum in June, we have some people that come just for the quilt show, not the tour narrative. And then we also have people that will come, for the tour narrative, but then they're also treated to the quilt show. So it's kind of a nice thing for people.
We'll have more with Long in the weeks ahead on the Homestead's year-long series of America 250 themed events. Learn more by visiting chmorehomestead.org or by finding them on Facebook. Coming up shortly on this expanded newscast, Social Security offers tip for doing business on the go. The University of Illinois Extension in Logan, Menard, and Sangamon counties is working with the Illinois Soybean Association on a plot of land in Hartsburg on the north side of Logan County. Reagan Tibbs, a commercial ag educator at the University of Illinois Extension in Logan County, indicates the 10-acre plot is a part of the Yield Challenge program. The project specifically focuses on testing different soybean varieties and management practices to see which combinations perform best in specific soil conditions of central Illinois.
Extension has a plot up at Hartsburg, that's 17 acres. It was donated to Extension shortly after we were founded in Logan County, and the purpose of it is to do research demonstration. The idea is that we can get research out of the university and out of their research plots and put it in local areas where local producers and local people can see the research that we're doing, and it can have a direct impact and benefit for their operations. So this year we're excited to do a soybean seeding rate trial. So we're going to have one control rate of 120,000 seeds an acre. We're going to do that across the sidelands and headlands of the field. And then in the rest of the field, we're going to try out different seeding rates. So using that 120,000, then we're going to go down to 80,000, 100,000, then go up to 140,000 and 160,000 seeds per acre, just to see what happens. What do we see in terms of yield differences? What do we see with weed suppression and weed pressures? What do we see in terms of nutrient uptake? Those types of things, to see if there is kind of a more optimal rates or what you could expect if you planted those different types of seeding.
The research at the Hartsburg site goes beyond simple variety testing. Tibbs explains that they will be evaluating the impact of different planting populations and the timing of fungicide applications. By collecting data on how these variables interact throughout the growing season, the extension aims to provide farmers with more precise, data-driven recommendations for their own operations.
We'll do soybeans this year, and then we might, when it comes time to do soybeans again, we might do it again just to see and get another year of data off it. The nice thing about this experiment that we've designed is that it's a checkerboard design. So the software I used to help design it, it has 7 replications of each of those different seeding rates. So that way we have that enough variability within the field, and they're kind of randomly placed across the field, so we can get different aspects and different, if one part of the field has different levels of phosphorus or nitrogen or a different pH level, then we can compare that to other parts of the field that have that same seeding rate. We'll certainly try it moving forward and see what kind of data we get out of it.
Local weather has played a significant role in the plot's early development. Despite some heavy rains in early May that caused localized concerns, the Hartsburg plot was planted in ideal conditions and has shown strong initial emergence. The research team will continue to monitor the site for pest pressure and nutrient uptake as the soybeans move into the reproductive stages.
We're very fortunate to have some generous folks around the area who donate not only the ability to do the field work for us. We have a farmer up in that area who's very generous in planting and harvesting for us and doing other types of applications. We've also been able to get the seed donated for this as well. So we're very fortunate to have those types of connections in the community who are willing to support that local research for them. I'll probably be up there at least once a week, barring that I'm in the area and that I'm able to get up there. But generally, I'll use that information that we get to submit crop reports that I do through the Illinois Soybean Association Extension in partnership with Soybean. We do crop reports around the state that we publish every week. So I'll use the information we're getting from that and plus other aspects I'm seeing across our 3 counties. So I'll try to be up there at least once a week just to kind of get a gauge of things.
According to Tibbs, the field day is being planned for late August or early September. allowing area farmers to tour the plot and see the performance of the different treatments firsthand.
So the plot itself is extension based. Ourself working with that, working with Richard Farm, but on the Soybean Association, they have their on the crop monitoring, crop reporting. They have their staff and their team of folks, agronomy folks that help do the reporting, and then they work with Extension and other folks around the state to get those reports in as well.
Tibbs will be blogging about the summer of research at the Extension website, extension.illinois.edu/LMS. You're listening to the WHOW Morning Show. Let's take a quick break with a word from our sponsors.
Spring into savings this May with a new Chevrolet. This is Scott Baum from Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton and Farmer City. Savings with a new car? Yes, with our fuel savings model like the Chevy Trax with 40 miles per gallon highway, the Chevrolet Trailblazer, and Chevrolet Equinox with 33 miles per gallon highway. And don't forget about our EV options, the Chevrolet Bolt and Equinox. Chevrolet, together let's drive. BaumChevyBuick.com, right from the start.
It's the quiet moments you count on. A call that connects instantly, a show that never buffers, a home that just works. That's the difference with Connexus Fiber Internet. We built a buried fiber network designed for consistency, earning us the title of top-rated fiber internet provider in Illinois. With plans starting as low as $25 a month and 3-year price lock options, it's reliability you can feel without the unpredictability. Because with Connexus, connection means everything. Experience better at Connexus.com. Nothing Connexus like Connexus.
News time is 19 minutes after the top of the hour. You're listening to the WHOW Morning Show. Social Security services are available to you whether you are at home or on the go, even if you are in another country. However, Jack Myers with Social Security explains you should be careful about conducting sensitive business on free public Wi-Fi. But if you have a secure connection, enjoy the conveniences that Social Security online services offer.
The whole idea, the reason I like to bring this up now is because when we have a little bit of time to get away from work and, the rigors and responsibilities of our day-to-day life, we tend to have an opportunity to think about things that maybe we don't always get to think about. And so that's how I want to frame this. If you've got an opportunity to get away on a vacation, or even if you've got a little bit of an opportunity for a staycation, take that time to take a look at our website, go to ssa.gov, create an account for yourself if you haven't already done so, a My Social Security account. Look at things like, your future benefits. What are you going to qualify for? Maybe even apply for benefits if you're getting close to that time. Look at your Social Security statement. Get that replacement Social Security card that you've been meaning to get, but you just haven't had the time to apply for. So all kinds of different things like that are available at the ssa.gov site. And if you are out on vacation, public Wi-Fi is available. Be a little careful with that, though, Seth. I always like to be careful about public Wi-Fi. I don't necessarily like to do things like Social Security business on public Wi-Fi. But if you find yourself with a secure connection, maybe you're at like an Airbnb or something like that, where you've got a private connection that's password protected, then you can feel comfortable jumping on and doing that sort of thing.
If you already receive Social Security or Medicare, you can create or access your personal My Social Security account, get your benefit verification letter, check your information and benefit amount, change your address and telephone number, or start or change your direct deposit.
Yeah, typically you shouldn't need the card while you're traveling. You don't necessarily need that to travel. You're going to need that more like if you're starting a new job, or if you're opening a bank account. Sometimes you need it. A lot of times you really just need to know the number. Not necessarily when you're traveling, but just in general, when you need it, more times than not, you just need to know the number. But if you do need to get a replacement card and you don't need to make any changes, you can do that right through the website. As long as you have a state ID or a driver's license, you can go ahead and request that through your My Social Security account, and a new card will just come to you in the mail. We can verify that ID with the state, so it's pretty seamless. Even if you have to do a little bit something more involved, like maybe change a name, you could actually start that process online. It'll tell you what kind of documents you need, and then it would give you an opportunity to schedule your appointment, which is pretty helpful because then you don't have to call to schedule something. You can schedule it right there on the website. So that is accessible. It's kind of like a flow chart or a question and answer tree. You get to that just by going to ssa.gov, and up at the top, look at number and card. Go from there. It'll start asking you questions, and it's pretty interactive, helpful.
Meyer says checking out My Social Security is a great way to spend a morning with just you and your coffee while you wait for everyone else to get moving this season. The National Federation of State High Schools Associations is touting a new online course for students that provides education and resources on mental wellness. You can find it at nfhslearn.com, says the association's Davis Whitfield.
When you look at our membership across the country, when you're dealing with 19,800 high schools and 12 million participants across high school activity programs, and that's really a little over 8 million in high school sports, and you look at the challenges that our young people face these days with social media and sports betting sites now and some other things, social media pressures and things of that nature. The mental wellness of our student athletes and participants has come to the forefront for all of our state associations. And so our membership, our 51 state associations, we have obviously one in each state, 50 states, and DC also has a high school athletic association. And when you look at mental wellness, really physical, mental, and emotional wellness are all included in our repertoire of course offerings, but student wellness and mental wellness has come to the forefront in recent years. And our membership has asked us to pay attention and to provide some resources in that area. And so we've done that. We've got a new student mental wellness course, which you just addressed. And then we've got a coaching mental wellness course as well. So we're trying to provide some resources, not only for our high schools and for our state associations, but for our young people as well.
May is National Mental Health Awareness Month. Last week, the Better Business Bureau highlighted National Scam Survivor Day. The recognition was created a couple of years ago to give scam victims a chance to combat the shame surrounding fraud and to promote support resources they can access, says BBB investigator Don O'Brien.
Just kind of highlight and we say, hey, there are people out there that can help you. There are people out there that have been caught in the same scams that you have. A lot of people are ashamed and feel badly that they've lost money to a scam, but these people, that's what they do. That's their job. So we want to make it easy and as comfortable for you as we can to report and help you in these situations.
According to the 2024 BBB Scam Tracker Risk Report, the first year that National Scam Survivor Day was recognized, about 53% of people reported feeling anxiety, stress, or trauma after being targeted by a scam. You can find the Scam Survivor Toolkit at bbbmarketplacetrust.org/scam-survivor. Applications are being accepted through May 29th for a USDA agricultural land easement conservation program. Now for your local obituaries. Janice Lee Peacock, 79, of Clinton, formerly of Kenny, passed away with her family by her side at 5:47 p.m. on May 8th at Decatur Memorial Hospital. Visitation will be 5 to 7 p.m. Tuesday, May 19th at Calvert Funeral Home in Clinton. Graveside services will be 10 a.m. on Wednesday, May 20th at Pleasant Valley Cemetery in Kenny, with cousin Scott Ketchum officiating. Charlie and Jan are being reunited as Charlie's cremains will be buried with Jan per her wishes. Memorials may be directed to Ruby's Rescue and Retreat at 4035 County Road 600 North in McLean, Illinois, 61754. Online condolences may be made at calvertmemorial.com. Kenny May, 70, of Clinton, passed away at 9:52 p.m. May 6th at his home. A celebration of Kenny's life will be at 3 to 7 p.m. Saturday, June 6th at Kenny May's Homestead, which has been in the family since 1855. Online condolences may be made at calvertmemorial.com. Get news anytime from your computer or your mobile device at DeWittDailyNews.com.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. A defiant Iranian leadership suggests it's ready to fight again, and President Trump seems more than willing to oblige. Mr. Trump says time is running out for Tehran to get serious about a peace agreement with the U.S. North America's largest commuter railroad is not running today, the first weekday morning of a strike that has shut down New York's Long Island Railroad, serving an estimated 250,000 commuters every day. More contract talks slated later today. The shootings were random. In Austin, Texas, 10 attacks injured 4 people over the weekend. Police have arrested 2 teenagers and are hunting for a third individual. Mid-air collision of 2 Navy jets at an Idaho air show over the weekend. All 4 crew members ejected safely, and they are in stable condition. On Wall Street, the Dow futures are down 345 points. More details, srnnews.com.
You've probably heard all those ads for life insurance. Just a few dollars a day, apply online in minutes, no medical exam. Simple, easy, and cheap, right? Now you're thinking, maybe I should get a quote. Well, smart thinking. Everyone should have life insurance. But here's what they don't tell you. Those few dollars a day rates, they're for young people in perfect health. That's why everyone calls Big Lou the 50 to 60-year-old not-so-perfect candidate. Like you. You take prescription meds and you're overweight. Winner, fried chicken dinner. Well, Big Lou works with life insurance companies that want people like you with no surprises after you apply. In fact, if you're a 50-year-old guy with a few health glitches, Lou could probably find you $1 million of term life coverage for about $200 a month. So yeah, you need life insurance. But unless you're young and healthy, you gotta call Big Lou because he's like you, older, heavier, and on meds too. Get a quote right now at 800-555-2085. 800-555-2085 or biglou.com.
From the Hart Media Group Sports Desk, IL Sports Wire, and DeWittDailyNews.com, I'm Ben Hubbard with this local sports report. In high school softball regional quarterfinal matchups from this afternoon, all games beginning at 4:30 p.m., the 9th-seeded Gibson City Melvin Sibley heads to 8th-seeded Armstrong, while the 10th-seeded Martinsville goes to 7th-seed Arthur Levington Atwood Hammond. 7th-seeded Cerro Gordo is hosting the 10th-seeded Georgetown Ridge Farm, while the 10th-seeded Blue Ridge goes to 7th-seeded Champaign St. Thomas More. And the 11th-seeded Heritage is being hosted by the 5th-seed Decatur St. Teresa. In Class 2A this afternoon, again, games beginning at 4:30 p.m., the 9th-seeded Clinton Maroons head to the 8th-seeded Maroa Forsyth Trojans. Hear the action on WHOW and all its digital platforms, while the 9th-seeded El Paso Gridley is hosted by the 8th-seeded Paxton Buckley Loda, and the 10th-seeded Shelbyville goes to 7th-seeded Sullivan. Edgar Caro hit a 2-run homer in the 10th inning, and the Chicago White Sox beat the Chicago Cubs 9-8 on Sunday in the rubber game of their first crosstown series this season.
Will Venable has said the superpower of this White Sox team is that they never stop playing, no matter the score. Trailing 4-1, you stopping, Sox? Nah.
Swinging a fly ball out into right center. Crow Armstrong going back. 1 run in. Here comes the tying run. 4-4.
How about trailing 8-7 in extra innings?
Caro hits a fly ball out into deep left center field. It's back there. It is gone! Edgar Caro wins it!
After a 7-2 homestand and taking the crosstown series from the Cubs, the Sox hit the road for a 6-game road trip starting in Seattle on Monday. I'm Jeff Meller, and I'll have your pregame coverage starting at 8 p.m. on the ESPN 1000 Hard Rock Casino White Sox Network.
The White Sox are back on WHOW tonight when they play the first of a 3-game series with the Mariners. Pregame starts at 8 p.m. Salvador Perez homered and drove in 2 runs. Stephen Kolek allowed 4 hits in 6 1/3 innings, and the Kansas City Royals beat the St. Louis Cardinals 2-0 on Sunday to snap a 6-game losing streak. Kolek struck out 3 and walked 1 in his 3rd start of the season after returning from a strained left oblique on May 5th. Daniel Lynch IV pitched 1 2/3 innings, and Lucas Erceg worked the 9th for his 11th save this season. Perez launched the first pitch he saw in the 4th inning, 392 feet into the left field stands for his 7th homer of the season to expand Kansas City's lead to 2-0. Andre Palante allowed 2 runs, 1 earned on 8 hits, and struck out 7 in 6 2/3 innings as the Cardinals had their 3-game winning streak snapped. Michael Garcia grounded a single up the middle, leading off the game, advanced to third base when Victor Scott II bobbled Vinny Pasquantino's single and scored on Perez's sac fly to left field to give the Royals a 1-0 lead. Cardinals shortstop Mason Wynn left the game and was favoring his left leg as he returned to the dugout in the bottom of the 7th inning after beating out a double play attempt at first base. Manager Oliver Marmol said Wynn had left knee discomfort and would be day-to-day. Royals right-hander Seth Lugo will oppose Boston righty Sonny Gray to open a 9-game homestand Monday night. Cardinals lefty Matthew Liberatore will oppose Pittsburgh right-hander Mitch Keller to open a 3-game home series Tuesday night. The Illinois State baseball program fell in the series finale with Michigan State 18-8 on Saturday afternoon at Jeff Ishbia Field at McLean Stadium. Braden Bakes set a new program record for hits in a single season with a 4-hit effort, including a home run and a trio of singles in the contest. The Algonquin, Illinois native surpassed former Redbirds Owen Miller and Joe Ailt's record with 90 hits in 2026. Bakes added 3 RBIs in the game to tally his 52nd RBI for the season, making him the 10th different Redbird in program history to achieve at least 50 RBIs in a single season. The Redbirds took an early advantage after Braden Bakes homered to left center to give Illinois State a 1-0 lead in the opening moments of the contest. Michigan State later answered in the home half as an RBI groundout evened the score at 1-1. With the score tied, the Spartans claimed the lead following an RBI double and an RBI triple, which plated 2 runs to make the score 3-1 in the bottom of the second. Trailing entering the third, Illinois State loaded the bases after a leadoff hit by pitch by Ryan Bakes and back-to-back singles from Braden Bakes and Graham Mastros. Michael Carano Jr. pulled a run back on a ground out to cut the deficit to 3-2. Moments later, Luke Stolga delivered an RBI single to tie the score at 3-all. As the Redbirds evened the score, Michigan State answered back with back-to-back walks to open the inning and a pair of runners on. The Spartans later advanced both runners into scoring position to set up a sac fly to reclaim the lead at 4-3. With Michigan State leading once more, Eric Machej reached on a leadoff single to open the frame in the top of the fourth. Moments later, Ryan Bakes launched his 12th home run of the season to give Illinois State a 5-4 advantage. Despite the answer from the Redbirds, Michigan State responded with back-to-back singles, including an RBI single to even it once again at 5-5. As the Spartans evened the score in the fourth, they continued their rally entering the fifth, as after a leadoff double, Michigan State homered to left to claim a 7-5 lead. The Spartans tallied their second home run of the frame to extend the lead to 8-5. In the sixth inning, the Redbirds battled back as a pair of walks and a single loaded the bases and set up a 2 RBI single from Braden Bakes and cut the deficit to 8-7 and secure the single-season hit record. As Illinois State chipped into the Spartans' lead, Michigan State responded with a solo shot to build it back to 9-7 and their advantage. Illinois State looked to rally in the top of the seventh as Stolger reached on a hit by pitch and Camden Karchewski reached on a pinch hit single to put 2 runners on in the opening frame. After a sac bunt from Machej to move the runners into scoring position, the Redbirds threatened, but Michigan State escaped the jam and maintained its 9-7 lead. In the home half of the seventh, after stranding a pair of runners, Michigan State extended its lead with an RBI single to make the score 10-7. The Redbirds responded in the top of the eighth after a single from Breaks and a Spartans error. Carano Jr. singled up the middle to drive in a run that made the score 10-8. In the bottom of the eighth, Michigan State's offense rallied after a leadoff single and walk set up a 3-run homer to give the Spartans a 13-8 lead. Moments later, Michigan State added an RBI single to plate their 4th run of the frame and extend it to 14-8. After a hit by pitch loaded the bases, the Spartans capitalized with a grand slam to secure the run rule victory at 18-8. Illinois dropped its final game of the regular season 11-2 on the road to Indiana on Saturday afternoon. The Fighting Illini enter the Big Ten tournament with a 28-25 record and a 14-16 mark in Big Ten play. Cole Wareheim posted his third 3-hit day of the season, going 3 for 4, while tallying his first Big Ten home run on a solo shot in the 5th. J.R. Nelson went 2 for 3 at the plate with a solo homer, his 3rd long ball of the year. The game went scoreless until the 4th when Indiana exploded for 6 runs. Illinois got 2 back in the top of the 5th to make it 6-2 before Indiana put up another 2 runs in the home half of the 6th and 3 more in the 7th for the final 11-2 tally. The Illini will take on Iowa at home to start the Big Ten tournament on Tuesday at 1 p.m. In MLB scores from yesterday, the Tampa Bay Rays beat the Miami Marlins 6-3, while the Baltimore Orioles beat the Washington Nationals 7-3. The Atlanta Braves took down the Boston Red Sox 8-1, and the Philadelphia Phillies shut out the Pittsburgh Pirates 6-0. The Cleveland Guardians routed the Cincinnati Reds 10-3, and the New York Mets beat the New York Yankees 7-6 in 10 innings. The Toronto Blue Jays beat the Detroit Tigers 4-1, and the Minnesota Twins took down the Milwaukee Brewers 5-4. The Texas Rangers shut out the Houston Astros 8-0, while the Arizona Diamondbacks beat the Colorado Rockies 8-6. The San Francisco Giants routed the Athletics 10-1, and the LA Dodgers routed the LA Angels 10-1. And the San Diego Padres took down the Seattle Mariners 8-3. In NBA scores from yesterday, the 4th-seeded Cleveland Cavaliers had a big win over the 1-seeded Detroit Pistons 125-94. Get highlights of your local high school program by finding IL SportsWire on your preferred social media platforms and get local sports anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com.
This is staff meteorologist Jennifer Vucci.